Welcome back, everybody. I enjoy a nice, smooth glass of whiskey, but I wouldn't call myself a connoisseur. But since today is St. Patrick's Day, it's the perfect day to learn more about this classic Irish spirit. Here to help us with some whiskey cocktails is the founder of the events and wine tasting company, the Wine Sisters, Erin Henderson. Hi, Erin.
Hey guys, how are you? I'm happy to be back.
I think whiskey can be kind of confusing for people because there's so many different kinds and also I think different names, different spellings even I recently learned. So let's start with
Yes.
Irish whiskey.
The Irish do put an E in their whiskeys, the Scots do not. There's a few other things, and I like to remember it as the rule of threes. So if you're going to have malted barley, it needs to be no more than 30%. Irish whiskey needs to be aged at least 3 years, and it's often, not always, but often triple distilled. And it's actually the Irish whiskey is what I recommend to people who are just looking to get into the whiskey game.
Well, good. Let's get started with a classic Irish cocktail using, of course, an Irish whiskey, and it's called the Tipperary. And I understand it has a story behind it.
And legend has it that there was a soldier who walked into a bar and he was humming the tune A Long Road to Tipperary. And that song was the anthem that homesick Irish soldiers used to sing to themselves while they were fighting overseas during World War One. And so this was the drink that he got at that bar. Check out this beautiful Irish whiskey that we've got here. We've got the Glendalough. You're going to need 2 healthy ounces of that, the way the Irish would want you to have it. This is a beautiful Irish
Yes.
whiskey. It's a craft distillery in the area of Glendalough, Ireland. Glendalough is such a beautiful valley. And this little guy on the label, that's St. Kevin, and he's Glendalough patron saint. And there's actually the ruins of a 14th century monastery where St. Kevin is the main guy. Next, you're going to put in a healthy ounce of vermouth. We're coming back overseas here. We're using a Niagara distillery. It's called Dillon's Distillery.
Now, Erin, I understand the next ingredient is chartreuse, and I kind of feel like chartreuse is an acquired taste. Simon acquired it strongly. I have yet to
Good for
acquire
him.
it, but I'm hoping you will convince me today.
Chartreuse has been around for 400 years and it started in a monastery, and there's 30 botanicals in it, but no one knows the recipe. It's top secret, and to this day only 2 monks that's in that existing French monastery know the recipe. Now, of course, other companies will bottle it and sell it and take care of all this stuff, but the money that's made from it will go to that monastery so the monks can continue their religious pursuits.
That's a mind blower that monks are making a liqueur.
Give this a nice healthy stir and then strain it into a nice chilled coupe or a regular coupe. And then tell me what you think. Let me know if Simon would approve.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna save it for him. Oh, it's such a beautiful, simple, golden hue. I love that. Is it like Nicole Kidman's Chartreuse Dior Oscar dress? It's exactly the color of that dress, and I always think of
Mm-hmm.
that dress as well whenever Simon busts this bottle out. Nicole's with me right now, although she's not
How
Irish.
is it?
This is absolutely beautiful. It's very clean and crisp and elevated, and I feel, dare I say, sophisticated while I drank it. All right, Aaron, it's my turn, and you are going to walk me through a whiskey smash. And we're using a
Yeah,
whiskey called Heaven's Door, and it's a rye whiskey.
it is. It's an
Okay.
American rye whiskey. And you can get Canadian rye whiskeys, you can get American rye whiskeys. The thing about American rye, there's a few fundamental rules about it. And the most important one that you have to remember is that in order for an American whiskey to call itself a rye, it needs to have at least 51% rye grain. What's super cool about this bottle, though, Lainey, that I think will really appeal to you, is that this was actually done in collaboration with Bob Dylan. And so, obviously, Heaven's Door, Bob gave the thumbs up to use that name. The artwork was done by Bob Dylan. He designed it. He obviously had a huge collaboration in the actual final blending of this rye and the final taste and outcome of this rye.
Okay, well, let's smash this whiskey. Let's go. Where do we start?
Okay, so you want to add in a couple wedges of lemon and a couple, just a sprig of mint, and you want to gently, you don't want to pound out your frustrations on it, but just gently start to grind them up so it's releasing those aromatic oils, which will eventually go into the drink. Yeah, you're doing brilliantly.
Okay.
I can hear it. Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good sound.
Yeah, you're doing really great. So now what you want to do is you want to add in 2 ounces of your Heaven's Door rye and pour
Okay.
that in. And after you pour in 2 ounces of the Heaven's Door rye whiskey, you want to add in 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. And then you're going to give it a really good shake to chill it down. Probably will take you about 20 seconds or so. So once
Okay,
you've got
discuss
everything in
amongst
there, put the
yourselves
lid
while
on.
I shake.
All right, give it a good shake. And now that it's all shaken up, you just want to strain it into a rocks glass with a couple of ice cubes. Historically, purists might say you want it filled with crushed ice. I find that really difficult. A couple of ice cubes is just fine.
Lainey, how is it? How is it? Oh, yeah. Wow. This is dangerous. Like, I want to gulp it. So, Erin, this next cocktail sounds like it's pretty much perfect for St. Patrick's Day because it's called the Lucky Irishman and it's made with Canadian rye.
Well, yeah, Canadian rye actually is much different from American rye. Of course, the main rule is that it needs to be made, aged, and distilled all in Canada. But interestingly, there are no maximum or minimums to how much grain rye needs to be the base of that whiskey at all.
Take me through how to make a Lucky Irishman.
So the luck is all in the fact that there's only 2 ingredients, dead easy. It's 1.5 ounces each of rye and Irish cream. So what we're using here is an award-winning Canadian whiskey called Bareface, and this is triple distilled, award-winning, really spicy, lots of vanilla, toffee notes. And into the glass, you're going to pour that. Yeah, really lovely. And then you're also going to have the 1.5 ounces of Irish cream. And I've chosen another craft distillery. I try to do this when I can. The craft distillery is from Ireland. It's called Five Farms, and it's 5 family farms, hence the name. And they actually line the coast of Ireland with this award-winning creamery, and it's the best Irish whiskey they can get.
This bottle, though, is everything. It's worth keeping, and it smells entirely different from any other Irish cream I've had. Like, obviously, it smells like Irish cream, but it's like a couple notches above.
Yeah, it's an award winner.
Shake this guy up.
Shake it up.
Is this like
all right
for an after dinner drink?
Yeah, I have this in place of dessert. So you know how some people might end dinner with like a whiskey or a brandy, and some people might choose to end dinner with like an actual slice of cake. I think that this sort of bridges the gap between everything.
I love that.
So.
Oh, this is a corker of a drink. Oh my goodness. Oh, the Lucky Irishman. Are you going to start writing epic tragedies now, Jess? Yeah. Crying and drinking. Just really do it. Okay, well, now I guess it's me for our final cocktail. And Erin, the name of this one makes me think that maybe we're in for a strong one. It's called the Eye Opener. What kind of whiskey are we using here?
Well, we're actually going to be using Scotch for this particular drink. The one that we're going to be using is the Dalmore. Now, originally when searching for this drink, I found it was made with the Irish whiskey OG Jameson's, but I wanted something a little bit stronger. And Scotch typically is going to be sort of the more robust and fiery of the whiskeys that are out there. The reason for this is obviously Scotches are made in Scotland, of course, but they have a certain component of malted barley, and as well, that malted barley is fired or toasted over peat. And if you know about the peat bogs in Scotland, that's sort of like a mossy bog of sorts. And when it burns, it gives that really nice smoky element. And of course, distillers can choose to dial that up or dial that down.
Okay, well, open my eyes.
Okay, well, it's called an eye opener because we're using cold brew, which is very en vogue. But into a mixing glass that's filled with ice, you're going to add in 1.5 ounces of the Dalmore Scotch whiskey. Then you should also have brown sugar syrup. So unlike the earlier simple syrup that you're using, this one was made with brown sugar, so it has much more of a mapley brown sugar note. Add in 1 ounce of that. Okay. And then you're going to add in 3 ounces of your cold brew coffee. And if you don't want to run out and grab a cold brew coffee, just brew some coffee, let it go cold. It's no big deal. And then what I want you to do is stir this pretty vigorously.
Okay.
And
stir it.
Again, like
not shake.
Stir it. You don't need to shake this one. We're just going to stir it up to chill it down. And so once it's chilled well enough, and that should do it, strain it into a rocks glass that either has 1 big king cube or several littler cubes. Whatever you've got on hand is just fine. And
Yep.
now what I want you to do is I want you to
Yes.
top it with a stout. Now, Irish, St. Patrick's Day, I think Guinness is the way to go.
Okay.
So crack open that Guinness and just give it a
Yeah.
topper of the
Oh.
stout. Woo!
Okay.
Woo!
Well, I, I just want to know about the technique because, like, it's all foamy. So, do I just wait for it to calm down or just go for it?
Well, I think with Guinness we could be here for a while, so I would just go for it. Like just gently pour it in and just give it a nice little topper. And then this might even with all the foam look like a nice cappuccino froth on top.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yes. You like?
Is it
Yeah,
good?
like it
Yes.
is an eye opener,
Oh,
you know?
yes. I feel
Yeah,
like,
I love that.
yeah, I just want to share, I just want to
Yeah.
share.
That's so nice.
She doesn't say that
Um,
very often.
I know.
This is
Just look,
amazing.
I want to know about you.
This is incredible. You have made us smarter. You have made Lainey open up. You have made us lighter on our feet. Thank you so much for these incredible whiskey cocktails.
my pleasure.
And don't worry, we're going to have all of these recipes up on our social media channels, but don't go anywhere just yet because we'll be right back.